throughout this effort, throughout the work we've done to bring so many other Americans home, President Biden has demonstrated that he's prepared to make tough and difficult decisions. I have no higher priority. The President has no higher priority than making sure that Americans who are unjustly detained anywhere can come home. And we'll continue that work in the days ahead.
Secretary Blinken celebrating the freedom of fellow U.S. American citizens coming home at this hour. Welcome back to NewsNation Live. I'm Marni Hughes in Chicago. Those 5 Americans who have been held in Iran are now out of the country, and they are on their way back to the U.S. after what some are calling a controversial prisoner swap. They arrived in the country of Qatar just about an hour ago. It comes after tense negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, mediated by Qatar. We know the identities of 3 of the American detainees on the left of your screen. 2 wish to remain anonymous. And in exchange, the U.S. is releasing 5 Iranians who were being held in Iran and, in the U.S. And also, as part of the deal, they have unfrozen about $6 billion in Iranian finances. President Biden releasing a statement within the hour saying, in part, reuniting wrongfully detained Americans with their loved ones has been a priority for my administration since day one. We have now brought home dozens of our fellow citizens, including from Afghanistan, Burma, Haiti, Russia, Rwanda, Venezuela, West Africa, and more. Still, too many remain unjustly held in Russia, Venezuela, Syria, and elsewhere around the world. NewsNation's Emily Finn here in studio with us now with the latest on this situation and also how soon these Americans are back on U.S. soil.
Absolutely, Marni. You know, these have been tense negotiations, a bit of a controversial plan that we've seen unfold throughout the day, and we have been following the developments very closely. $6 billion in Iranian funds were unfrozen, setting this prisoner swap into motion in the first place. Now, as part of the deal, 5 Iranians being held in the U.S. will be released, but 2 of them will actually stay in the U.S. In exchange, these are the 5 Americans who are now free today. As you mentioned, they're on their way back to the U.S., just arrived at the airport in Qatar about an hour ago, and they're described as being wrongfully detained in Iran. One American had been in jail for 8 years on widely criticized spy charges. Another is a conservationist who has been in jail since 2018, and another a venture capitalist. Now, under this new deal, Qatar will monitor how Iran spends that $6 billion in unfrozen oil money. Officials say it will only be allowed to purchase humanitarian goods like food and medicine. And this money is not U.S. taxpayer dollars. It's coming from frozen funds in South Korea, which purchases large amounts of oil from Iran. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held a press conference just moments ago about the swap, saying he had an emotional conversation with the 5 prisoners released by Iran. Take a look at what he had to say.
Today, their freedom, the freedom of these Americans for so long unjustly imprisoned and detained in Iran, means some pretty basic things. It means that husbands and wives, fathers and children, grandparents can hug each other again, can see each other again, can be with each other again. So it's a day that I'm grateful for.
An emotional moment indeed. But Marni, the move has been condemned by Republicans who are accusing the Biden administration of paying a ransom for U.S. hostages. The White House is standing by its decision, however, adding that no sanctions have been lifted on Iran. Marni, this is something that we will be watching unfold throughout the rest of the day.
All right, Emily, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.